Hi, I'm Nakia Young, and welcome to this edition of Rutherford County Magazine. First, we'll speak with Rutherford County Emergency Management and GIS, and they'll talk about how they worked together in the recent April tornado events. Next, we'll speak with Mr. Mike Williams of the Highway Department. He'll talk to us in their great new facility, not to mention they'll tell us about how they maintain the county roads. Last, we'll speak with the Sheriff's Department on their new first annual Junior Deputies Academy. So stick around and stay tuned for this edition of Rutherford County Magazine. The Good Friday tornadoes that stretched across the county changed the way we look at and handle emergencies. The Rutherford County Emergency Management Agency had their hands full and GIS was there to help. Both were able to come together, assess the damage, and find out who needed help the most.
Anytime there's a disaster in this county, emergency management, our job is to manage the emergency, not necessarily as a first responder to the scene, but to pull the resources and manage what is needed and gather the resources that are needed to take care of whatever the emergency is. In this particular case on Good Friday, this storm traveled on the ground for 23.5 miles, went from the county to the city and back into the county again. And the city of Murfreesboro and county agencies and volunteer agencies all worked very well together in responding to the citizens of this county and making sure that when they did a search and rescue that everyone was okay. And we spread our resources thin, but we were able to manage it in a very timely manner. We established the EOC, which is Emergency Operations Center, as well as the city of Murfreesboro opened their EOC up to help us manage the event. When we are dealing with a tornado or any type of a natural disaster, we correspond with TEMA, Tennessee Emergency Management. We work hand in hand with them, and they came down and assisted us in what they felt we might need, some recommendations to us, and or assist in getting things done as we need them done on the state and federal side. FEMA came in to do an assessment for IA, which is individual assistance, PA, which is public assistance, and SBA for Small Business Association. So all these resources came in so that they could do an assessment and see how they could help the citizens of this county and if we qualified for their assistance.
The federal government requires damage reporting for the agencies to get reimbursed if there's a bad enough disaster, and also it is incumbent upon them to do that in order for the funding they get from the federal agency on a regular basis. In the April 10th tornado, it was about 36 to 48 hours worth of data collection before we had the majority of it. We still didn't have all of it when the federal government came in and started doing their analysis. There was another 25% more found that just hadn't been found before, just because the damage assessment when it was done was a very preliminary, quick, shoot from the hip type thing. And as you go back and take a breath, you'll find more and more people come out of their houses and talk to you when they know you're around.
The GIS mapping system, this was the first major event that we actually utilized them to almost the full capabilities that they had to offer us. And that was to do a flyover and get accurate, real-time information on the path of the storm, structure, damages, road closures, you name it. Their mapping capabilities gave us an instant blueprint of this storm and where we needed to shut roads off, how we can send out alternate routes for fire and ambulance services, because when we deal with a disaster, we still have the day-to-day activities and emergencies that take place. And it's critical information to get out to the ambulance service and to our law enforcement and to our fire departments on road closures because of the storm damage and all, and alternate routes to get to where they've been dispatched to save lives.
GIS was responsible for providing initially maps for the Sheriff's Office for response to the tornado victims, and then as far as damage assessment and preliminary damage numbers, we utilized GIS to turn around those numbers in a timely fashion by capturing the data that building codes inspectors for both the city and the county had collected, and marrying that with the assessment data through the property assessor's office to come up with preliminary damage assessment figures.
Usually within hours, depending on how quickly the field crews get back with the damage reports. A bigger event takes a little longer, a smaller event takes a lot less time. The tornado we had that hit the Jackson Heights Plaza was a very small EF0 and had a very short damage path, and within 24 hours we were done with that event. The tornado on April 10th was a little bit more extensive in the fact that it was an EF4 tornado, had more destruction, and also had a 23.5-mile damage path. It
was about 175 man-hours for the initial response and data collection and entry. If they had to collect the data manually, enter the data manually, and manually come up with those figures, it would have been weeks worth of work. So it really cut down on the amount of time it took for them to get the state and FEMA damage assessment numbers and preliminary dollar figures that normally is what is the catalyst for getting a presidential declaration.
The data that's collected out in the field by the damage assessment personnel contains things such as the structure type, what its use is, how much damage is done to it, and specifics of the damage. We enter mainly the percentage damage, which is either slightly affected but habitable, which is about a 5% damage. Minor damage, which includes things like parts of the roof missing, shingles, lots of shingles missing, siding missing, windows broken, that type of stuff, is about 30% damage. 40% damage is more parts of the roof, which is major damage, more parts of the roof gone, other parts, walls missing, things like that. And then anything above that is considered total destruction, even though it's not totally destroyed, because the structure probably will be raised due to the damage before it is repaired.
We contracted with the vendor to actually fly the county. The goal was to fly the Saturday after the Good Friday tornado, but weather did not permit that, so we weren't able to fly until Sunday morning. And then that vendor turned around the data in approximately 26 hours back to us, which is an extremely quick turnaround on that type of data collection. So we had the after photos, imagery of the tornado path by Monday afternoon, and then we had another vendor that we work with on a regular basis that donated their time to get the website up and running. And the website is a very visual tool to show the before and after using existing imagery we already had, and then the after imagery we captured the Sunday following the Good Friday tornado. If you'll go to www.rutherfordcountytn.gov, there's a link from the front page of the county's main website, and you'll see another link on that page that's an interactive tornado map, and that is how you can reach the website. We also, by capturing the imagery on the Sunday after, were able to identify properties that were missed on the field collection, where the building inspectors, or they were a little separate from where most of the damage path was that had damage. We actually captured, I think, about 75 or 100 homes that had damage that were not initially in our damage assessment. So there were many uses for that imagery beyond just a visual representation. We actually were able to provide information back to emergency management on homes that were missed in the damage assessment. This is the fourth, I believe, tornado response we've had using GIS, and every time there's a tornado, we seem to fine-tune our process of how we can respond and better help EMA and EMS and the Sheriff's Office. This by far is the largest that we've ever worked with as far as a disaster response. But you learn lessons every time that these things occur, and we've learned several lessons on this last one, and that is we've got some work to do to be better prepared. We just need some preparedness, some changes in our process to be better prepared for that, for the next event.
Wow, that was some great behind-the-scenes information on the recent tornadoes in Rutherford County. And more importantly, we were able to see how the county was able to help. So let's move on to our next topic. Out here, I'm standing in front of the Rutherford County Highway Department. And I'm sure most of us think we know what they do or who they are, but today we'll give you a side that you never see. We'll speak with Mr. Mike Williams, Road Superintendent, who will give us an idea about some of the things that go on here at the Rutherford County Highway Department.
Highway Department takes care of all the county roads within Rutherford County, excluding state routes and incorporated areas in the cities. We have approximately 955 miles of roads in Rutherford County that we're responsible for. That's anything within that right-of-way, mowing, bridges, driveway connections, anything to do with roadway maintenance. A lot of times we have wind damage. We're responsible for moving all debris and trees that might fall in the road, and any kind of patching or just routine maintenance of the roads. We have a full maintenance shop. We take care of all of our equipment ourselves. And we have equipment storage buildings, a salt storage building. Thankfully, the last 5 years or 6 years, we haven't had very little snow. So we've got salt that's probably 5 years old in our bin now. We moved in here, I believe it was December of 2003, and we've been very happy here. The old facility we had was an Army Quonset hut. In fact, the picture behind me is a picture of the old building we were in before we came here. That came out of probably World War II. And we were in dire need of a facility, so we went to the county commission and asked if we could use our ending fund balance to build a new facility. And we were able to do that with money we'd saved through the years without having to ask for new tax money. And of course we paid cash for it, so there was no debt. And we've been real pleased here. We've got a very nice facility. I would say right now it's probably one of the top 4 or 5 in the state of Tennessee. It's probably the top facility other than the big 4, being Nashville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, and Memphis. We get about half of our money. We have a $9 million budget, a little over $9 million. We get half of that money from gasoline and diesel fuel tax. We get a portion of the wheel sticker and a portion of mineral severance tax. Mineral severance tax is a tax that is charged to all processed stone in Rutherford County. They pay 15 cents per ton severance tax on the stone that these individual private companies produce. Well, we work a 4 10-hour day shift. We tried it year-round this year, which has worked really good. I think you get more work done in a 10-hour shift than you do 8, and these guys really work hard at what they do. Well, the employees make any place good. I mean, this facility would be no good if you didn't have good employees, and I think we have the best in the state of Tennessee. 4 or 5 years ago, the county commission voted to have a public works department as such that does off-site drainage. The highway department, according to state law, can't leave the road right-of-way, so we had to have some way of taking care of those drainage easements within the subdivisions and other approved drainage easements in the county. So we have a 4-man crew that's what their responsibility is taking care of those off-road right-of-way drainage systems. The engineering department here with Rutherford County takes care of all the We have a book that has those drainage easements in it, and they have to designate what we work on and what we don't work on. So we work closely with the engineering department.
Engineering department, we work with the highway superintendent to size pipes and try to look at better ways to do drainage and different ways to do drainage. We go out and find places that have flooding issues, and we can work in established drainage easements. And we go out and we've got a 4-man crew, and we've got equipment that's back here that we use to go in and look at old drainage systems that need to be reworked or redesigned. And I usually do all the technical stuff as far as running the numbers and finding out what can be done, and then our crew comes in and does the work.
I have 2 ladies that work in the office, and they do an outstanding job. One of the ladies, what she does is answer the phone, and if you've got any comments or questions or suggestions that we might use, we'd be glad to talk to anybody at any time.
Thanks to Mike Williams for sharing his time with Rutherford County Magazine and you, the viewer. Our next topic is something new at the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department. They decided to do something new, and that something new is the first annual Junior Deputies Academy. This program is going to give kids a taste of what it's like to work in law enforcement.
This is a program that's designed for kids who might be interested in a career in law enforcement. It introduces them to many aspects of law enforcement. There's some classroom lecture type things given. There's also a lot of hands-on. It also helps produce confident young teenagers, really. These kids are teenagers as they go into middle school. And the School Resource Officer Division wanted to put together a program that would supplement a program that we already have in effect. It's called the Junior Deputy Program and the Students Against Violence Everywhere Program. And this just transitions them from elementary school from one program to the next program.
Hit the deck! Good job, you guys. Good job. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right, go ahead. Everybody get up.
For the kids, they'll get a reward, a group reward when they work together and they have a common goal. And there's a little bit of, as you can see with the military, there's some marching and some push-ups done to show that if you work together as a group and you succeed as a group, that everybody succeeds together.
Get in a circle. SROs, you can join them if you want, okay? It's actually really fun, okay?
I had heard about this at a training session last summer from a department up in Terre Haute, Indiana, and they've been doing it for years, and they run 100 kids through every year. And the way the department was letting people know about this academy was just very exciting, and what a great way to end the school year for kids to get out here and learn about police work and just have fun, a little bit longer time with their SROs from their school. And so we thought, well, we can do that. We want to do that for the kids, and that'd be great to start that summer break. So we got back and we talked about it, talking to Jeff DeGennaro, and he said he'd like to run with it. And here we are today. We've got right around 32 kids, I believe, rising 6th graders. And we're just going to throw a lot of stuff at them this week from 8 to 2 every day, Monday through Friday. And so we're excited. We're just going to, a lot of hands-on activity and just a lot about police work and emergency services.
Today is working with the National Guard in the morning, getting to know the teams, because most of these kids don't even know each other. Then after the marching, we're going to go inside the sheriff's office. They're going to have people from different divisions within the sheriff's office talk about the different responsibilities within the sheriff's office. And then at the end of today, they're going to take a tour of the jail, so they get to see the people who can't follow the rules in society, where they end up. So it should be a big eye-opener for the kids. Wednesday and Thursday we'll be interacting with other agencies. We're going to have the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation coming down to do a crime scene class for the kids. Our goal is to make great memories for kids, that in the end, 20, 30 years down the road, that this is something that I look back on and say that was a really good time. And this is our pilot program. It's the first time we've ever done it, and we've got a lot of experience today and in the next couple days so that we can do this in summer's coming.
Well, that wraps it up for this edition of Rutherford County Magazine. We thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again right here on the Rutherford County Magazine.